Hi, I'm natekokernot. Welcome to my channel, Miracle Readiness. I've been talking the last couple days about some principles that we might want to follow that promote better communication, mainly because I think that our failures to communicate are responsible for most of the chaos and disorder in this world. And let's face it, there has never been more chaos and disorder in this world in any of our lifetimes than right now. So now is a good time as any to really start scrutinizing our communication and see where it could be improved upon. In A Course in Miracles, the definition of communication is limited to only that which joins us together. Words that are meant to polarize and fragment us simply don't count as communication. A Course in Miracles says it far more eloquently. Quote, "The ego uses the body for attack, for pleasure, and for pride. The insanity of this perception makes it a fearful one. The Holy Spirit sees the body only as a means of communication, and because communicating is sharing, it becomes communion. You might argue that fear as well as love can be communicated and therefore can be shared, but this is not so real as it sounds. Those who communicate fear are promoting attack, and attack always breaks communication and therefore makes communion impossible." End quote. One could argue, as I will here, that if new links aren't being made, then whatever is happening is not communication. If we're tearing down what someone said to us, we are not communicating. If we're building off of it, we are. The simplest guideline to stay true to this principle of real communication is one stolen from the improv comedy world. You never say but you always say and. All the people in any conversation are alive and therefore worthy of being confirmed. Striking down the other person's words, then, can't be life-affirming. Yes, we all have different views and opinions, but we also have values that are shared, and those are much more significant than the differences. I'm convinced that the values for peace, joy, and love are universally held by all human beings. There are just disagreements about the means of achieving them. When we have conversations from this spirit of creating links rather than tearing them apart, we are seeking for the common ground, and we become more impartial, but at the same time more curious about the contrast in our worldviews. Not because we want to prove the other person wrong, but rather because we want to understand them better and broaden our own perspectives. We usually find that the differences are trivial in comparison with the commonalities. Miracles and mutual learning are inevitable when we communicate with one another. When we really communicate. As Nora Bateson said in the original forum, and by the way, I've shared a link to that in the description below, quote, "Maybe something I said made it possible for something Daniel would say, which then made it possible for Vanessa to respond in a certain way." End quote. There's a scaffolding that happens, a creation of links that form new connections in each person's individual minds as well as ones shared between us. In this, we are mimicking the communication that happens in natural ecosystems. It is a complex web of interrelationships that is really just awesome to behold and to be a part of. Nobody involved could possibly anticipate all the places we'll go in a conversation of this type. It is truly miraculous and life-affirming. It helps everyone involved get out of their linear thinking and appreciate how truly interconnected we all are. A Course in Miracles basically teaches that the words life, love, God, and truth are all interchangeable. It is never more obvious than when we're out in nature that life is a shared experience with unseen links hidden everywhere in plain view. That is how it is in the community of humankind as well. And we have the means to create these links together to create change that is affirming of the one life that excludes no one. Here's another quote from A Course in Miracles that backs this up. Quote, "God is incomplete without you simply because his grandeur is total, and you cannot be missing from it. You are altogether irreplaceable in the mind of God. No one else can fill your part of it, and while you leave your part of it empty, your eternal place merely waits for your return." End quote. Even these principles that I'm sharing each day about communication are linked together in a web of interrelationship. All of what I'm saying today rests on the capacity for open-mindedness that I spoke about in my last presentation. When we relinquish the purpose of our talking to convincing other people that we're right, it's fairly obvious to see how mutually beneficial the communication can become. Thank you for listening, and please communicate with me. Let's have some conversations in this comment section down below. We can practice this right here and further extend and promote community over fragmentation and polarization. Remember what we called this realm when it was first invented. It's called the World Wide Web. There's so much opportunity for coming together and healing right here if we choose to use it for that. Have a wonderful day.